Boom. Boom. So, gentlemen, it's been a very active week of the BS. A story came to me recently of something that was inserted in the district.
Nice. I see what you did there.
Yeah, and so there's a recent, I guess, some litigation about, I don't know if it's abortion or what they're talking about. It's a right to contraception, which I think is okay. So in, I guess, I don't know if protest or if they're like supporting it, they decided to put a 20-foot inflatable IUD in front of the White House.
Okay.
Now, here's my thing. It wasn't taken down. It means that somebody got a permit to put something on the White House lawn that looked like this.
Is that the White House lawn?
No, it ain't the White House lawn.
It's in that area.
Right.
You see the structures in the background. It's down
there by Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah,
I see what you did there. We're talking about an IUD being in that area.
Yeah, it was inserted. It was inserted into
that
area. Now here's the thing. The litigation, because I read up on, I read up on some shit, right? I read up on it, and apparently
the problem is, to read now?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
And
blacks have been reading for a few years now.
Yeah, and just a few years. It just started.
So you gotta love the blacks.
Yeah, you love how they come and
blacks.
They just
people
make
always
it through.
question if I'm black, and I don't think so, but my parents are. So we'll see how that goes.
So
I gotta ask your cousin DJ Khaled first to see.
We the best music.
We the blacks.
Yeah.
So guys, here's my thing. The problem apparently is that people want access to free contraception. And
they give it out at the clinic.
That's a part of it, but what they want to include in contraception is
the expense.
I hate to use the term, but let's say cancellation of birth. Okay, they want to, so they call in that contraception. But I thought contraception was the preventing pregnancy.
It is.
So
it is.
I mean, it's a little late to the party. Like, is Plan B out there? Like,
that's what I'm saying. So it takes away the funding from Plan B.
They're also trying to pass a law to call Plan B a controlled substance and try to put it on the schedule. Yeah,
okay. That's interesting.
And the whole thing for me is that their arguments are invalid because they're not telling the truth.
See, the problem with all of this is when you do that, when you start making all of this stuff where you can't get it or it's illegal and all of that, then people start enlisting Plan C. Just like they did with alcohol. You made alcohol illegal, you got a prohibition. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got people making liquor in the basement, selling swill. It gets disgusting.
And it's bad when they go to Plan D, which is D for dry cleaning hanger.
But see, here's the thing.
See, I was trying to stay away from that.
We always try.
That's my job, though.
Right. So the thing is, those procedures are ridiculously expensive for birth terminations, right? So apparently, when they reversed the whole Roe versus Wade thing, it made it so that the states could make their own rules, and now that's outlawed in certain states. And now the feds want to say that they're not going to give any funding to anyone that's giving out contraception, but that also includes termination of birth. So I think the issue for me is right, but that's what I'm saying. A condom and a birth termination to me are not the same thing. You see what I'm saying?
The problem is that their arguments are not valid, because what they're really trying to do is make it so poor people have to have babies, right?
Why would they do that?
Because that's the working populace. All the people making the laws have already graduated and not have to be blue collar. You know what I mean? So they're trying to make the poor people keep having babies and not be able to support them. So they either go into the system or they never achieve to a certain level, and they go right into
get shadow banned because there is way too much truth spewing out of your face, good sir.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. But I get what you're saying, but I don't think we're supposed to be able to say
everything boils down to that dollar, bruh. And I was speaking with someone the other day about polygamy. I'm going to say, why is it illegal? And the reason why it is illegal is because you could have up to 6 or 10 adults living in one house, each having babies. And think about that income tax, because you're not married. Think about how much you're claiming in that household. That's the only reason why. Because why would Uncle Sam care what you do in the bedroom?
Right.
It all boils down to that dollar. Not only that, think about how much income all of these wives and this husband or and you know, or wife and many husbands, think about how much income they're bringing in. And then if they decide to start businesses and then use life insurance policies and play the rules that Donald Trump plays, then they're not even paying taxes.
Right. So there's a whole house full of money coming in and not enough going on.
It's all about that dollar. It has nothing to do with them babies.
Here's another thing to think about. A lot of these policies and stuff are being brought by the religious right and the evangelists. If correct me if I'm wrong, the end goal of the Christian religion is to be like or be with Jesus, right? And to be with Jesus is to help bring about the end times, just let people be crazy so the second coming happens even sooner. So you're slowing it down. You're slowing it down by trying to make people moral in ways that they don't even want to do.
Statement, sir. We definitely, you know what I mean? There's going to be some people that don't like that.
Of course, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm sorry that you're offended if you don't like this.
I'm not offended.
You know what I mean?
Get what you're saying,
but I will say this. I will say this, and I believe it was Leviticus 13:1. It said,
he's quoting the Bible.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Definitely Leviticus. Definitely Leviticus.